Ready? Aim!
There's too many!
Anyone see my mammoth?
Stubby!
Oh! Hey! There we go. Guys, nice and on time. Turns out that I 100%. Hey. There's some things. This week, joined by friends of the channel and Daniel. If you don't know who Daniel is, likes to win, not the hearts. And then over on the other side, joined by joined from Hits by Chris. And
hi everyone. Yep.
Cool. How are we doing?
All good, man. Really glad to be here. Honored to be here. And as I just said, like in our little like prep talk, it's like really hard for me to like look right and left for now because I'm like just focusing Hits and Crits for now. The development, all the stuff we do, the initiatives, the big tournament we will talk about later. So yeah, that's it for me.
All right. So Daniel, how about you? How you doing?
I'm fine. As always, also glad to be here. Looking forward to have some free folk talk with you. You know, all the good stuff.
Right. My connection. 2 seconds. So we'll start off with the event itself. Chris.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell me. Why? I mean, first of all, why are you putting on the event? Next, kind of like what made you inspired to go, size that you have, all of those kinds of
things. Mm-hmm. So let me start with like 2 to 3 sentences why Hits and Crits came along, right? At some point. So we stepped into, or I stepped into the game a few years back. I think it was 2020 or 2021 something, and I was like really well with open arms. I was welcomed by a pretty big US community, and we got closer and closer over time. And at some point we also did battle reports together, and and at some point there was just that point in time where I decided I have to do my own thing because I just wanted to have another focus, which will lead me to the tournament and what we are trying to do and achieve. So at some point, Hits and Crits was founded like about 4.5 months ago. Mm-hmm. So we're located, like I'm living in Hamburg, in the north of Germany. So and like our big goal, our mission statement on Hits and Crits is like to build an inviting, inclusive, like open community where like beginners and veterans and all the guys come together, learn from each other, and just have a great time, right? And just develop the game together, and just have fun with this awesome game. So to broaden the community, I think there are several pillars you need to check. So for one, I was always thinking about cooperations with other channels, but also with creators of accessories, for example, or we have a co-op running with a printing service too, and we are about to have like some a system running which will provide the new cards always when the patches are coming around. So this is one pillar. The second one is like the reality, right? Doing tournaments, smaller ones, beginner tournaments, but also big ones, right? So, and at that point, we were thinking, we had the venue, and we were thinking we should do around a 60-player tournament to start things off, because we were not sure if we can handle, like, I don't know, 120 right away. So our goal was to do a 60-player tournament because the venue just, gives it. and has the room and has all the equipment, so he can host a 60-player tournament. And the reason why we did it was just to have an inclusive tournament. When you check the ELO, the average ELO on the tournament, we are about 1,530 something. So 1,5 something. So you see there's a big gap between players, right? We have Larix obviously winning the tournament, spoiler. So he won it, but we also had a few beginners, a few people just joining the game, and our main goal was to give everyone a great time and to kick things off the way we do at Hits and Crits.
I mean, it was definitely true when I looked through not just the results, but obviously looking through all the names and things. One of the things that we always do is we always look through and see what names we recognise. Obviously Daniel's up there, but not the only one. There are plenty of other names on this list, like Felix and the examples out there that we recognise as well. People actually, representing the sport, the game, not sport, but have been representing the game for some time in different events and things like this. But it's the fact that 56 players there. There's a few internationals. Obviously, you've got the guys from the Netherlands coming down, which is great. You have Randall over from the US, which is amazing. But then the rest of the 56, there's probably 40 names on the list I've never seen before, maybe even 50 names, and that shows that the community's growing. It shows big growth for not just your community in Hits and Crits, but the German scene as well. And I think that's a real positive thing. Dennis has said Chris is pointing at 120 players for next year's tournament.
Well, I'm just saying there. Well, let's put it like this. We have the possibilities, or we have the room, we have the equipment, we have all the stuff you need for 120 players. And for now, we just keep it at. We had a great start. I mean, maybe Daniel can tell you guys a little bit about his impressions about the tournament. But we have big plans, right? And when people get to know the Hits and Crits crew, because we're 3 right now, so 3 founders, when you get to know us, we're thinking big. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's awesome. So, I mean, over to you, Daniel, really. Before we dive into the actual games and we go through all the different rounds, and not necessarily the whole breakdown, but the feel from the event in that sense. I want your opinion on attending the event. I mean, this is probably the first event that you've attended that's essentially been run by the Hits and Crits crew in a big style in this sense. What was your initial thoughts going into it, and then how did you actually find the event itself, the organisation, the venue, all of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, sure. First of all, when I saw the tournament popping up, I was 100% sure I want to be there for different reasons. First reason was simply that Hamburg happens to be my hometown, so it was really convenient at one hand, and at the other hand, I was for some years now wondering what's up in Hamburg in northern Germany, and for a couple of years it was at least not very visible. And now I was really glad to see that obviously there has to be a big community. And I mean, there were a couple of tournaments and so on, but nothing in this department. And so I knew I wanted to go there. And I beforehand saw the content coming out from Hits and Crits. So I was also kind of curious. And I mean, it was a big tournament. So in Germany, and that's kind of rare, to be honest. We have the Nationals. We have the Sachsenmeisterschaft in Leipzig, but that's it basically for our tournament schedule. So yeah, I definitely wanted to go there, and over the years I've been to a couple of tournaments now, I would say. So I think I can evaluate a little bit what kind of tournament it is and how it was organized and so on. And yeah, it was definitely special. The guys at Hits and Crits, they really put on a show, so to speak. And I think what Chris described as their mission was really achieved, because for me too, there were party names I didn't know before, and I was really happy to see new faces and see this kind of growth coming out of northern Germany. That was so good. And there's a video up a summary from the tournament basically, and there were like really much like a lot of love put into the event. There was a kind of tournament trailer in the beginning that really was giving everyone the goosebumps, to be honest. Like that was pretty cool, and this was special to me because it felt it felt extraordinary. And since I was in Hamburg, my family, like my parents lived there, and I had my family with me, I brought them along during the day and so on. It was like nothing, it was an event where you know, sometimes our hobby is a little bit also like special, yeah, and maybe nothing you want to share with your partner or your like family, and this was different. You know, you really could bring them along, and it was welcoming, and it was simply cool, and nothing to be not proud of, to be a part of. So yeah, it was a great experience.
No, that is great. You mentioned the video there. For those of you who aren't aware, you should be aware. First of all, that's the first thing. Second of all, this is the Hits and Crips YouTube channel. This is a video on there. I will mute it while we talk because I don't want to have that. The audio is brilliant, by the way. I'm not just saying that because the audio is bad and I don't want to listen to all of Chris's hard work. No, the thing is that they've done a great little tournament recap, so they're kind of like getting a feel for the video. And I mean, what I actually like about this, from my perspective, is it allows me to get a sense of what the event was like without having to attend. Now, obviously, I'm in a position where just traveling over to Germany isn't really that hard in the grand scheme of things. But in my current predicament, it's definitely not going to be something I can just do for a weekend. And so having
next year, man,
it's great. Yeah, exactly, next year. The first thing I wanted to say, first of all, I'll just get pause on that point here. Great choice, right? In case people can't tell, the sideboards from these are the German sideboards that were done by Kraken Wargaming and Tabletop Warden, I believe. I've got one, and they are absolutely spot on. Have you got those for how many tables was it? Was it for all of them, or just some of them?
No, we collected some tactics mats we had around. We also had some from Playmats EU, and we had all you know, we bought what we had, like from community members and also from a bigger club we have in Hamburg. So we basically put on the best we can do. But we also, like, in the end, a lot of players played with the Simon promo tactics boards because we gave them away at the tournament. Every player got a promo tactics board. So in the end, that a little bit ended like this. So everyone was like hyped about bringing their Baratheon or Targaryen or whatever promo tactics board on it. That's how. And yeah.
I'm really glad you got some of those as well, because when obviously I picked some of those up in the US when I was over there, back to the UK, and they are awesome. Like those new tactics boards are actually really nice. Quality's really good, obviously, but they're unique as well. They're really unique. So, you know, being able to have one of your own collections is important, I think. But yeah, I mean, like, obviously, look at him. Look at his baby face there. Oh. But obviously the venue, it looks great. It looks, dare I say it, compared to a lot of places I've played War Games tournaments, it almost looks modern and nice. Because I've played in some right shitholes.
The main reason for picking this venue was not only the size, and or let's say it was the size first, and then, but also we know for future we can expand, right? Because there is so much room, we can expand the tournament. The second one was we wanted something to be like really like light, bright, and like, you know, vibrant, for a vibrant like experience. And the third one was actually the air condition, and the air circulation in this venue is really great. So you never have that point where you feel like it's like, you know, you can't breathe, or it smells or like anything. It's a really modern building, and that also feeds into the whole experience, I would say.
I mean, Larks, your experience in the UK in the running track at Lee Valley, it feels like it's a big building. It feels like it should be really airy and cool and nice, and it just isn't, is it?
Yeah, I definitely remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, warm and sweaty. So yeah, I mean, sweaty wargamers, right? Who we've all probably seen a 40k tournament, and we hear the terrible things. So yeah, air conditioning important.
Yeah, it's a sport after all, we do. So yeah.
Yeah, true. It's a big sport, and we put a lot of brain effort into it. At least that's what I tell myself. Right then, so it's fantastic the event was put on first and foremost. It's great to see. I think for me, we've seen the Tabletop Warden guys for a long time be part of the hobby, which is amazing. But it's great to see a second content creator from Germany really come out of the weeds. And when I say content creator, there are of course loads of content creators out there. They're not just these guys. But when I use the term here, we're talking about people who are trying to do it seriously, get out there, create content that people want to see on a regular basis, weekly videos, that kind of stuff. And you guys have really hit the ground running with this. And it's fantastic to see, and the payoff is there. The payoff is there. You've literally seen the payoff yourself in being able to run a great event. I don't know a single person. We always talk about after events, feedback and things like this. I don't know a single person online who said, there could have been improvements or there was a moment of controversy or anything like that. It's all just positive things, and I think that's credit to yourself as well, Chris, and the team, as well as obviously the attendees as well. But that's not everyone gets it right first time, and dare I say it, and this might sound a bit bad, but it's not too hard to get it right as long as you do the basics correct first. You get the basics right, and then you can do all the fancy stuff.
True.
And you've nailed the basics, and then because of it, the fancy stuff has been on top of it. And you've only got to look at some of the stuff that's you've obviously been able to give away as prizes, but then obviously the way you do the ceremony and everything like that as well. That's all the extra stuff that you get to have as all the cool stuff on top, because you got the basics nailed. So that's the right way to do tournaments.
Yeah, we also thought in the beginning, and I think we will a little bit deep down further into this. Why 5 rounds, right? Mm-hmm. Why 2 days? Why this after show? I mean, we can dive deeper, but one other reason, not only to bring new players and veterans and newbies together, was we wanted to basically kickstart what we are trying to do in the future. So we have quite some initiatives coming for Hits and Crits. So what we launched at the tournament, and we had some reveals on Saturday, and we had some reveals on Sunday, and basically we opened up the Patreon at some point, because the stuff what we will do will need some support from the community, and it was also highly appreciated by everyone that we have it. We were actually asked beforehand if there is something, and we were not yet, but there might be. So I think one of the big thing, and you mentioned tactics boards and accessories. So we revealed a tactics mat and a tactics a pure tactics board, together with a battlefield and all the lines. We will collaborate with Playmats EU on this. And Daniel, maybe you can tell everyone, but we think it's a great design. We will also offer other designs with it. And in the near future, we will launch it on Playmats EU. So Playmats EU are the guys that create the neoprene terrain. Right. Yeah. So we will collaborate with them, and there is a lot of work going into this project, and there are a few other things which we cannot reveal here today, but big things. So and we also wanted to bring people that are not as close, the inner circle of Hits and Crits. They just know the brand, or they seen a video like Daniel in the beginning, right? He just seen some videos in the beginning, and then he got curious about what we do, and we wanted to bring all the people closer to what we are planning, what we're trying to achieve, and that basically got to a peak when we went to the Saturday after show party, and that basically leads me to why we did 5 rounds, and then put it in one sentence. We wanted to have it more as a community event than a competitive event. That might change over time, but for now, with all the reveals, all the initiatives, and all the growing we do, we wanted to have this community, exciting, cool event where everyone can like just have a great time and
You've hit the nail on the head.
Enjoy the game.
You've really hit the nail on the head. You know, you want to start kind of like not smaller. Smaller is probably not really the right term, but start with kind of like the community building aspect, and it's what we saw at the LGT a few years back, right? Coming out of COVID,
yes.
The LGT was run as a player competitive event, sure, but like let's also bring all these people in the community together, most of which haven't really met each other because of COVID and other reasons, where the game really seemed to grow, I think, as a community in that sense. Come together after COVID, and then that grew into what we saw a few years ago, which was a huge event, you know, internationals coming across. First time I got to meet Daniel, which was brilliant, and share a beer with Ennis, because Ennis brought a load of crazy beers, as he does. And that's what it's about, right? It's about the people. So having the people as the focus, I think, is completely the right thing to do. And the thing is that you're completely right as well. You focus on the people, the game, the tournament will become competitive in its own right. You have the right people at the events, you grow the right community, the game will grow, and the event will become competitive, and it will be competitive in the right way, rather than competitive in the kind of like negative way that sometimes competitive events and competitive gaming can sometimes attract. And I think that's really good. It's funny because I'm kind of seeing what you guys are doing and what you guys are looking to plan and what you're looking to achieve, certainly with events and things. And it really mirrors what we saw in the UK a few years ago. And it's done, and it looks like it's being done with the right kind of mindset, with the right planning involved and the right people. And so, you know, we're talking, you saying 120 players next year for a big event, and people are like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I'm sat there being like, 100% that's achievable. Like 100%, because the attitude's right. You know what I mean? And that's, you know, next 120, and then, you know, 2 years down the line, you'll be saying Poland. Who cares about Poland? We've got like 300 people. So yeah, well, hopefully, you know. But yeah, no, it's awesome to see. All right then, let's dive into it. Larks, a few words from you now that you're a Free Folk main apparently, and as all you ever seem to do is play Free Folk now that you 1.6 Starks are gone. What was your thoughts going into the tournament?
You know, it was the first, I think, big tournament for SEO4. So it was roughly based on assumptions and evaluations, experience maybe from the last years, but nothing was was underpinned with like real experience from a lot of games. I got a couple of games in and had my idea on how this would play out in the meta, but I mean, yeah, assumptions, you know. And I think what was pretty clear that Starks was to be feared in this kind of tournament and circumstance. So I really wanted to be prepared for 9 activation Great Dawn and so on. And I mean, from the Free Folk perspective, we had a couple of changes too, right? So and the big one obviously being Varamir point increase, or at least now costing points. So we had to I had to change my 10 activation Varamir list. And we had the stuff, or the story with the bar, how to deal with the bar, included, not included, you know. And so this was my world. And actually I wanted to bring some of the new cool stuff. I really toyed around with Plague Targaryens and so on, and then I was being scared in the last moment and went back into my comfort zone. But no, I mean, I was really curious to explore the changes to Free Folk too, to be honest. And as I said, I think there are a couple. So I went with some hard changes not including Val, for example, in one list, which feels pretty odd for a Free Folk main to do this. And I really wanted to be a little bit brave diving into the changes, even though I didn't include things like spear rifles and so on. So I said to me, at least I have to explore a little bit with the NCUs, and that's what I was thinking going into the tournament. And I was pretty sure that I had some, even though it was a beginner-friendly tournament and so on, there were some big names there. I know that my arch enemy from the Netherlands was there. I was hoping to see Flixie in the finals maybe, or something, or down the line. And so I had to, I wanted to meme a little bit, but still to play like my best game. And that's how I went there.
I'm gonna straight up ask you, if you were doing it again, or if you were entering an event tomorrow, would you take out Dala and put Val back in? Or would you leave both Dala?
I don't know. I think my experiences were kind of positive. So this might be misleading, in the grand scheme of things, because maneuverability is key in this game, and it's a very strong NCU. But I really got to say, I like the combination of Lady Dala and Man's 5 points. Not so much for the additional extra hits that you can put out on top of like 1 million of auto hits anyway, but more for the token control, right? With Man's 5 points NCU, you can pretty much lock down a token on a unit because it cannot be targeted by tactic zones and influence effects. And Lady Dala gives weaken tokens on Crown. So nice opening is like Man's on letters, and the opponent takes horses, you go Crown, and you then have 2 tokens like weakened and vulnerable on a unit, which is pretty strong. And I think everyone who knows Free Folk a little bit from the inside knows how valuable weakened tokens are, and it's really adding to the already sturdiness of the style list. So, and I like being a little bit different in list building approaches. So I think for the next tournament I would at least try it again.
Okay, that's interesting.
What's your opinion?
I've barely played Free Folk since the changes, so
okay.
I've been investigating the game and just playing things I think are fun, and playing lists I think are cool, and just having fun with the game, to be honest. I think Dala...
I was like, I would not have fun, like, yeah.
I know, right? Who has fun playing this game? Yeah, I mean, Dala is a hard sell for me, but I have toyed with the idea a lot. I played her at 5 points a little bit, in kind of like these low activation Free Folk stuff that I've tried in my local clubs and stuff like that, and good fun. I'd have to revisit her at 4. I think the weaken token is probably quite valuable. I can see the bags being oppressive, actually, like almost like a problem. If the game devolves into these kind of very stalematey, grindy kind of scenarios.
Yep.
But yeah, not for me on the most part. I can see maybe working with Mance though. Just Val's just too good. Val is just too good. Or maybe I should just dump Val maybe from. And ironically, don't have much to say about your Varamir list because I've kind of seen it, because this is a list that I've kind of run before. So there's not really much to say there, and that's not to say. It's cool. I like it. All right, then we'll break down the stats. I think this was quite interesting. Chris, you got a new community going, right? 9% Starks. For a new community, I feel 9% Starks is incredibly low. Do the guys at Hits and Crits not just love Starks? Starks are the main characters. Everyone plays Starks. That's what I've been told anyway. 9% Starks. Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. I think overall we had a great mix of factions. Yeah. The only thing I think is really like under valued in the game, or underrepresented, was Targaryens, right? Targaryens are basically not there, or almost not there. I was wondering actually about the high amount of free-fall players up there, and only one Stark player. And the other thing I saw was we had quite some Night's Watch players even after the patch. But I wasn't really surprised by. I think the best one was 23. Then there's like a long list of nothing. And the next one is at 36 or something. 17. So it didn't really work out for them. Okay.
Skybrick leaks in at 17, but yeah, I mean that's.
Oh, there he is. Yeah. Skybrick is a great guy. He's actually a great example of building this community out. He's actually from Lord of the Rings, and we are playing a lot of like smaller tournaments, events, and stuff in local clubs and like around Hamburg. And he just approached us in terms of what is that game? I heard about it. I never seen it play. And he's like, I really like the Night's Watch models, and I like, John and Goes and all that kind of stuff. So we just, pulled him into the Discord, and we just talked, right? And he's adapting the game so quickly. He's learning so fast. So great. And in terms of Starks, I was also like really wondering, why is it that low? Even or especially after S4, right? Because when I saw S4, I was like, okay, there is cool stuff, right? There is really, really incredible stuff. And I'm not only talking about the Berserkers, I'm mainly talking about like the Spearman spam, right? 2 car Stark unit, what we see with Hans's, so third place. Hans, I'm not sure like how often he played his first list, but I've seen some play on it, and those double spearmen pushing up the field and just into the face of your opponent with Hold the Line, those guys are just incredible.
You say,
right? And with the
you say you're not sure how often he played it. Of the 5 rounds, how many do you think he played his Great John 9 activation list with the double car Starks?
4 times.
4 times? Yeah, I would say 2.
All 5?
Okay, so yeah.
All 5. Okay, so he played all 5 with him?
Yeah. I actually jumped onto this list and modified it a little bit, and I'm playing it at the Hits and Quits. The league? Yeah, Hits and Quits league.
And the TTS.
Yeah,
TTS
they run a TTS league too, and it's I gotta say, like Stark's 9 activation is pretty hot. Maybe I'm going back to Stark's, Mickey. I don't know.
Hey, I like Stark's at 9 activations, man. You don't have to convince me.
Yeah, me too.
I was doing it last year. It's lovely. No, that's really cool. I mean, the thing is, what's nice about this is that it's nice to see players come out of the woodwork with interesting stuff and use and we talk about like it was coming out of the edge of season 4. Just been released 2 weeks before the event or something like that.
2 weeks.
It was 2 weeks, wasn't it? And it is good to see people play the new stuff. Like one of the criticisms, and to some extent, Larks, where this kind of feels from a free folk perspective, is a lot of the time the season changes and it feels like we don't run much different stuff. It takes like 2 days and it feels like puzzle is solved, and that's not good. Yeah. And it's one of my biggest criticisms of free folk actually is that, I mean, I personally think free folk are quite strong. But also the list building hasn't changed for me a lot in now almost 2 to 3 years of playing the game with them. And that is what it is, it doesn't bother most people, but for me it's just a bit tiring. Whereas things like Starks, as you mentioned, I think Targs have got really cool stuff going on, and I think they're really good fun. So I've been really interested by Targs. I think Baratheons should feel very happy. They've got some fun stuff going on. And Flixie, again, Flixie we know is a strong player, but he comes to the event and loses out on 2 secondary points, Daniel. Which, to be honest, as we know, losing by 2 secondary points feels bad. So have you offered to play him on TTS? Or have a visit, fly over to Rotterdam, or he comes over to you, and you play one game against each other to see who's actually the best. I hope it's Flixie, and I hope he steals your crown.
I did not, but maybe I can use the forum here to speak out an invitation.
It's a public invitation.
He's always welcome. He's a great guy, and I would always love to play against him. Sure. But I cannot. I think the Lowland GT is it. It's not. It's in the future, right? Yeah.
It's around the corner.
So I unfortunately I cannot come. I also told him I would really love to, But for me, it's like a very long travel from where I live, and I have other things on my schedule right now, which is bothering. But yeah, I would definitely love to come and try to steal their crown. Maybe, you know.
Sounds a little
They're
bit
always-
like you're scared, to be honest, mate. You said you got things on, but I think you're scared of going over and getting beaten by them.
That's fine. That's your story. That's okay. I can live with it.
He's just sitting on a couch, like waiting it out.
Yeah.
Sweating, waiting for the 24th of March to end, and he sees the final
Exactly.
results.
Yeah. No. Big shout out. Yeah, to the White Scars. Great. Was really great to meet them there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're great guys. All right. Cool. So we see in the end, you know, we see Baratheons come away with a decent win rate. We see Freefoot coming out well. Stark's respectable of 52%. I mean, the real losers, and I don't think this is anyone's surprise, Bolton's 30%. They're just, and this isn't, you know, this is not just your event. We'll look at some of the other results of some of the other events in a little bit. They just, the changes to make them have neutrals is cool, but like,
Yeah, not enough.
no. I'm curious, Chris. What's your favourite faction to play?
Well, I still have to go with my main, which is Night's Watch. So
Power gamer. Power gamer.
I took the black at some point, and I stick to it. But I actually like playing the Boltons, right? Especially when we do like these smaller events and intro games and stuff. I always pick up the Boltons, as you did, Daniel, yesterday, right? When you introduce new players, it's kind of fun, right? They're epic. The Flateman look great. Roose Bolton is there. Ramsay is there. So I love to play the Boltons, just let's say for fun, not competitively, right? If I would choose to go like all in, you probably can't do the Boltons. Still, I think there are some builds that can be competitive, at least in like the mid section of like skill. So when you are like good to mid players, I did quite some good games with them, even won some games with them. But I also like really enjoy Starks at the moment, or like not at the moment, like always. And as you said, I'm more in this direction of Rob, 9 activations, 3 wolves. I showed the list to Lorik, so I'm actually into like Krenokman, Bog Devils with Rob is amazing, right? Because the hit and run thing, you go in, you put the poison out, you do the hit and run, go out, you weaken them, right? And they will have to think about being weakened, losing 2 wounds then from the poison. And then most of the time you have like a shaggy dog or a grey wind like lurking in the background, just waiting for such a charge to just finish them off. So
get some
trapper. Yeah, hidden traps, or what actually is the thing now. I put Recon and Asha into the Spearman, the 5-point Spearman. It's quite a bunker, right? And what else is strong? I also really like the Loyalists now. They really bring a package, right? And if you put Bran and Hodor in it, you always get that panic test out of it with Vicious. Great unit too for 6 points, right? In the end, and then you get the 3 wolves, and just great list, right? You can really maneuver it out, and you guys can relate as free-folk players, right? You really have a lot of activations, and you can just wait it out to do this alpha thing with Rob, or like finish something off with Shaggy Dog. It's a cool list.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of that style, and I think it's a testament at the moment to how free Stark list building kind of feels. I think there's this tendency, and to some extent it does happen at the top end, is that, you know, Starks summed up in one phrase is Tully Cavaliers and Eddard Warden of the North. And don't get me wrong, that is a thing, but like, you want to see something different, and the thing is with Starks, there is the option for something different. I think the main talking point here, and it really is almost a little bit sad, is that we saw Lannisters in quite a high pick rate, and we talked about, you know, the variety in player skill, but ultimately Lannisters had another abysmal weekend for you guys. I mean, we talk about Night's Watch having a bad time. Lannisters had a worse time.
Yeah,
I do feel a little bit bad for Lannisters at the moment. I think they have one game plan, and They do different lists with that game plan, but ultimately the game plan is Knights of Castle Rock with Tywin, and maybe they have Gregor, maybe they have some other stuff in the list, but that's what they're going to do. They're going to blow you up with Tywin and Knights of Castle.
But Mickey, like, I think it's, in my opinion, and I played a couple, like really a couple of Lannister games during the last times, and the things that I played there were not changed. And I think I think Lannister players have to really let that go and maybe have that in one list. And there are options, like even with meme commanders like Jaime and so on, they have to think differently now. And they have to think about playing for field presence, maybe playing 8 activations and so on. Like, I think they really have to explore a little, and I don't feel bad for Lannisters overall. I think they can be at least mid-tier competitive still.
Maybe.
I'm
not convinced.
Yeah.
I've tried to build Lannister lists, and I always go, God, this is terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you can play a 7 and an 8 activation, like, in a good fashion.
I'm a big fan of garbage like this, where you take Jaime, take Adam, you take Jockin, and you take the Widower. You just say, basically, if you attack any of my units, someone will get to do something.
Someone will do something, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who cares if it's good or not? It's fun.
What I thought of. But yeah, sure, you can do that too.
There you go. 2 points left. We'll upgrade Jaime and put Jaime in a useful unit. Like, actually, if I have them all in red cloaks, there we go. 3 panic tests. Let's go. Right. Anyway, that's bad list building for you. But yeah, maybe not. Maybe Lance has got something, but I'm still not convinced. I have to convince about it. All right. I think the one thing I will say though, and this is going to start leaking when we talk about some of the other stuff. Steer, the most common commander picked. Obviously, Free Folk, the most common faction as well. A lot of people going down the Steer route. As we'll see in the events that were ran this weekend, the Spanish GT, as well as the Welsh GT, 32 players and 74 players, I think, remember rightly. There's 2 prevailing kind of facts if we look at those numbers, and probably guess it's going to be around Steer, in that we see Steer only taken 4 times in Wales, but that is still a good proportion of Free Folk players. And although we only see Steer 5 times, by far the most games played. Pretty much, like, he's got a tiny representation of 5 compared to some of the others at like 11, and yet he's played nearly as many games as the highest. Steer is the most popular commander. I know how he works. I certainly have dealt with it enough. Do you think that... I mean, I'm going to say it. Mid-season patch, Season 5, for want of a better term, we're supposedly being told they're looking at attachments and commanders. Do you think that they will probably, hopefully, change him, do something with him, to make him not just what I would consider an automatic pickup for the faction?
They probably should. Yeah. A big part of me is afraid of that, because I think as a commander, he's a very clear-cut identity. Yeah. And to be honest, like, he has 1 big card. The other one is good, but not brilliant, and the third one is like kind of meh. And his attachment abilities are
cool.
Iron Resolve is very good.
Yeah.
Very good. But the Supremacy, you got to do something to make it work. So I think, like, in general, he's not over the top. And I simply hope that they are kind of gentle with the changes. And but from my perspective also, before the change, I was like, Varamir was my main list, and I had Styre for certain situations, and now I find it it's the other way around, basically. Styre is my main list, and I have for certain problems, well-defined problems, I have my Varamir list now, and that's probably is not a good development, even though there are other approaches now to playing Free Folk. I personally don't feel them, rate them as very appealing or anything, but there are, and I think you can play competitive pre-folk in different ways, which are not fully discovered yet, I would say. But in the end, I also would always come back to Styre if I really want to win an event, and probably they should address this. But I'm just a little bit scared that this might shake up the overall balance regarding free folk too hard.
I think it's interesting. So actually, over to you, Chris, because you play Night's Watch. You're a Night's Watch player, right? And we just saw the deck get kind of gutted, changed massively. Sad days. But looking ahead, I think we can almost like a bright future ahead of Night's Watch now. In that, yes, these things aren't great now, but it opens up the design space to maybe lower some more units down to 6 points. Bring some attachments into play, make some of the other commanders just a little bit more appealing. Overall, yes, things hurt right now, but in a patch, maybe 2 patches, you can see him, sitting in the mid-table and being very happy and saying, look, the faction is in a really good spot. It's balanced. There's a bunch of cool stuff you can do, and there's nothing that's like super strong. But there's also like none of these commanders that are just awful. And that's the problem Night's Watch had, right?
Yeah, I mean, I still think that the faction is still in a good spot, I think, because they still have great units, right? Yeah. I mean, Spearman, awesome unit. I'm actually a fan of Swarm Brothers, too. I mean, it's not that popular, I think, but I'm still a big fan, especially when you put, like, Ramsay Reek is like a big thing, but it can be different stuff. So like Cotter Pike in Swarm Brothers, double Swarm Brothers is a thing. So the units are like Cold Hands is good now, right? I think he's now well designed. And also the deck, the only thing I criticize about the deck, I really like that the developers say, okay, we take the deck because it's too, well, I don't want to say oppressive, but the deck was just so straightforward, right? You got a card, you played it out. You got a card, you played it out. It didn't really matter, right? So you pick it up, you just play it out, and whatever happens, it will give me some benefit at some point, right? So, and I really like about the triggers. I really like about that they took the cards and changed them. And as you said, like, stuff hurts, right? Sword hurts.
Yeah.
And now it's Watches End, it hurts, really. Yeah. But those two are the worst. But overall, I like the changes. The only thing I criticize about it is I think the path is the correct one. But they shouldn't have done, like, there's 2021 and no change, nothing until S4. And then they give you the triggers. They nerf certain cards and they put in the panic test. And that is too much for most Night's Watch players. I mean, if you're well experienced, you can deal with it, right? Because you do the stuff on the battlefield then. You do it with positioning, you do it with certain attachment unit combos. You can still make them work. Yeah. But it's not as oppressive as it was, like, especially with all the combos with Night's Watches Ended, like triggering free attacks and all that kind of stuff. So, and same actually for Corrin, right? It's an obvious thing that they needed to change Corrin. That was like obvious, right? No one wanted to play it or against it. And even Night's Watch players that played Corrin felt bad about it and didn't really like it. So I, like, early on, I put him to the side and just played Dennis Melister, like a few months before the patch even. So I think the changes are all good, but sometimes they took a bazooka and just shot it down. And with Corrin, it's the same thing. Now, Corrin on 5 points is not really usable anymore. He's not, for 5 points, he's not worth a thing. So that one dice is not really worth the 5 points. Yeah. So, yeah. So, but still good faction. You can make them work still. And I think, as you said, I'm in the hopes that they will maybe touch the deck again. I think we can gladly get rid of the panic test. Or there needs to be something like you can only attach 1 to 2 cards to a unit, maybe. right? There needs to be a different thing, because with a panic test and you lose all the cards, it's just too bad. It's just a thing, because you're already deciding. You already have the card, and you're deciding, should I put it on there? Should I keep it? Should I, And then you decide to do it, and then there's this one little panic test, even with the 5 morale across the board, and everything is gone, right? And that's, especially for beginners, that's a tough thing to deal with. So I think in the summertime, when we get the patches, I'm in the hopes of they take some commanders and put in some attachment cards that you cannot lose from panic tests. Maybe they buff Geor a little bit more. Maybe they buff Dennis Mellister. Maybe.
I'd like to see Dennis buff.
Yeah. So that's them. I like the changes. It was just too much at once on the tactics deck.
It's almost, the way you described it there is actually really well, and it's almost like they took the changes that they should have made potentially at other points.
Yeah.
And just applied them all in one go, rather than having them. If they'd have seen the deck change
over time,
at the end of season 3, perhaps, or the end of season 2, sorry, and the deck change would have come in, and we'd have had season 3 with the Night's Watch that we know, but with that changed deck. Then they could have maybe brought down Cold Hands or whatever. Or maybe they could have brought down Cold Hands in the right way. And I don't know, it just seems... Yeah. Okay. All right, then. We'll... Obviously, the event itself. We'll go actually get back onto mini topic quickly. Congratulations to winning it, Lars. It's not the first time, and I'm sure it won't be the last time that you win an event. But well done.
Thank you.
There are various pictures that I know that you'd shared with me, Chris. This is you and the guys plus Flixie running the event, which is great. And obviously, Randall is there as well in his app back there. There is obviously a lot to say. Lots of people that were at the event. However, I believe that the main people that matter are obviously you guys, runners of the event. Without you, there wouldn't be an event for people to go to. But as you say, it's also the full community. Players are what make this game. The reason we play this game is because of the cool people that we know. And it's not about the winners, right? It's not about who wins the event. It's not about who's the best painted. It's some of the best people you meet at these events are just people. And that's what I don't see. That's what I don't get to see. So I look at this list, and I go down and go, oh, look at there's a cool name, and Hans came third. That's cool. That's awesome. But that doesn't mean anything to me. So I want you to pick out, Chris, a few people from the weekend as a whole. It's a few weeks ago now, I know. A few people from the weekend that you wanted to thank for the awesome event, not just for running it and not just for helping out, but also for just being awesome people.
Where should I start, right? I mean, let's do, because I just have to do it. It's the team around Hits and Crits, the inner circle, which all the guys were just there on a Friday evening until the night. Basically made it happen, setting everything up, do all the technical thing, because like Daniel mentioned, this trailer we launched with, we had the sound running, we had this big cinematic moment in the beginning, and this all needed to be set up at some point. So thanks for that. It mainly goes into the direction of, again, the inner circle of Hits and Crits, but also the Tabletop North club, which is one of the bigger clubs in Hamburg. They were really supportive. They brought the mats and they brought their manpower, so that was great. Then a big thank you goes to the international players. Randall took the whole trip, right? Yeah. And that's not only a money invest, it's also a time invest to be in Germany. That's a pretty big trip from Houston to Hamburg, right? So
it's a long way.
And it's a long way, but I actually had him on yesterday. And he said for him, it was an event of a lifetime. He never been to such a big tournament. I think that's something that is common in the US, that they have like a lot of players, a lot of tournaments, but most of them are smaller, right? Except like Adepticon. Yeah, exactly. So except Adepticon and LVO and stuff, so for him, it was the biggest tournament he was ever been to. So big thanks to him, and also the Rotterdam White Scars, which hosted us a few weeks before, where we did the battle report, where I played against Jeroen, right? So that those guys brought along their whole crew and came to Hamburg was also great, and all of us promised we will come. Next opportunity we can do, it won't be the GT, but it will be there will be some more exchange program going between Rotterdam and Hamburg, definitely. And in the end, there's one thing I have to say, thanks for everyone to putting the trust in and coming a long way for a lot of Germans too, because they came from the south, from the east, from anywhere or everywhere in Germany. So driving 5, 6, 7 hours in parts. So this trust we experienced throughout the whole 2 days, and all the feedback we got, there was not, as you said, there was not a single negative feedback done to stated to me or any other Hits and Crits member. So I think we did a really good kickoff. And what I was really hyped about was not only that we had so nice people inviting people, just people connecting that much. I was really satisfied about how awesome the units and the armies that were painted, that got into the contest of being painted. Man, in the beginning, I said to one of the Hits and Crits members, I was like, yeah, well, if we are lucky, there will be 8 armies painted, fully painted. So there will be an easy thing to pick the winner, right? And we did the selection of the win, or the choosing of the winners. We did right after the first game, because it was from an organizational standpoint, it was the easiest to do. So all the guys played their first game and just let it on the table. So we walked around, and I was looking at the other guys, and I was like, man, I cannot really decide, right? I mean, it was so much stuff there that is so awesome. So we actually decided on the tournament, at the tournament, on the Saturday, we said, okay, we need more price support, right? We need more prices. So we actually pulled more prices out of our from our sponsors and gave it away, right? Because you just have to show that back to the community. And
amazing.
Yeah, a lot of stuff can be seen on the Instagram or in the Discord. It's such great community. Great community. So thanks for the trust, and we won't, or there will be more in the future, definitely. Yeah.
Mickey, may I also mention one person, because I had my best moment during the tournament actually was my first game, when I before joining the tournament, I also joined the Hits and Quits Discord and met some people there and said hello, I'm looking for games, very often, and met some great people there, and also a guy, Tyree, from Northern Germany, which I played a couple of games, and who is a kind of newer player and not that experienced, but really willing to learn and to reflect on the game and talk about it. And I was drawn into him and into the first round by random or luck, and it was really cool to just meet him in person and shake hands, and we had an awesome game, and that was my favorite moment.
Yeah, I mean, I can mirror that. We've never had the opportunity to play face to face, but I can think of times when I've drawn into players who I've wanted to meet. Most recent one would be US Nationals, where I think round 4, round 5, I ended up playing against Brandon Crones, who I'd played a lot with online and was kind of friendly with him going up into the event, and I drew into him. And you're playing to win. Obviously, it's a tournament, but you're trying to beat your friends and things like that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I was like, this is going to be a fun game against someone I like, and that to some extent matters more than the outcome, I think. Because if you like the person you're playing against, who cares about the outcome? It's irrelevant.
Yeah, sure. That's so. And that's what it showed to me, that the goal of the tournament to bring together big parts of the German scene and new players and experienced players, that really was incorporated for me in this first game.
Yeah, I'll read a few comments out, Chris, because I don't know if you can see the chat. And there's this I don't know if you know him, this thing that says Imperial Minis. Anyway, I'll just read this out, and it says, such a friendly group, everyone I met was awesome, having fun, 100% will never forget it, awe-inspiring, truly. And then he said, on camera he's great, off camera he's a belligerent jerk. Can you confirm that? You saw him off camera?
I played. It was just great having Randall over. He was actually crashing in my son's room, so we had to like remove my son.
I was gonna say, you did remove your son first, right?
Exactly. So he was crashing here, and it was we had a great time. We were just connecting and grab a coffee and went there really early. And he was so approachable, right? Randall is such a great guy, and I actually, there's a little anecdote. It's really short, but it's like, and when we launched Hits and Crits at some point, my best friend and co-founder of Hits and Crits, he was like, I'm really enjoying that Imperial Minis channel, but I'm really wondering what that guy looks like, right? And I'm like, yeah, me too, right? I've seen some battle reports, but no one knows what he looks like, right? Or at least we didn't check any like older videos. We just seen the battle reports and some stuff like painting, and that's how like where we looked at and where we said, okay, we want to do like do battle reports too, but a little differently, and we connected. And at some point we were like, okay, we do not have the assets ready for our battle reports. Now we do, but like back then, a few months back, we didn't have all the assets ready to produce battle report, and I was like, man, we need something, because we have the community now, and we already had like 100 people on the Discord, which was quite amazing after like, I don't know, like 3 to 4 weeks. And then I was like, I need to get something going, right? So I will reach out to Randall and just ask him if we can do the S3 review video, so we have something, right? Because like normally we were like, in the beginning, we were not really planning on doing patch reviews. But that basically put us into or I contacted him, and he was so, again, approachable, such a nice guy, and we started to connect. And I think we have something going in terms of like, I think people enjoy the kind of like different energy levels we have, or a different kind of or different way of how we see the game, how we discuss the game. So yeah, it's just great to have Randall in my life now. I really have to say that. Yeah.
It's that. I mean, that's, you're going to regret saying that at the end. He's sleeping in your house, right? You say you're happy to have him in your life, and he says, yes, if you'd subbed to his OnlyFans, you'd have seen his face reveal earlier. Have you subbed to his OnlyFans yet? I assume you're part of his OnlyFans at this rate.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
all in. Premium member. Yeah.
Co-owner. No, it is great. It's fantastic. And I mean, I will reiterate as well. Other content creators are available. I won't just make it all about Chris and Randall, but Joran and the Water and White Scar guys have been doing this for a long time, and they're fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you haven't checked out their stuff, obviously check out Imperial Mini's stuff. He's really cool. He's laid back. He's great.
Yeah.
Check out Water and White Scars. Check out Hits and Crits, obviously, in case you hadn't worked that one out. And yeah, go and enjoy all the cool, awesome content that comes out of these guys. So, I bet you haven't talked about this next thing, and I'm going to catch you both off guard. Right? Because you didn't think we'd talk about this, and I forgot about it, conveniently, until about 5 minutes ago. Have you guys seen the new unit reveals?
Yes.
You have. Good. You're not going to be going into completely blind then. So, Simon have done a few things in the last few weeks. And I'm I'll just be ready for this. Alright? I think I'm going to be quite positive. I know people aren't used to that around here. Yeah. On the 19th of February, they posted up about Here Be Giants, which giant spear throwers are released in case you didn't know. Apparently, I go and check your local stores. They may or may not actually be released. I think they are actually released in the UK because I think someone was using them this weekend. But there you go, giant spear throwers.
In the E2.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. But we've also seen, this was last week, the Guards, the Crows, and the Vanguard. The finally now fully revealed Winterfell Guards, Stone Crows, and Harmer's Vanguard. Or Stark. Neutrals, asterisk, and Free Folk, respectively. So, we'll talk about let's talk about Harmer's Vanguard. We'll work backwards. Free Folk players. Harmer's Vanguard, cavalry unit, coming in. I'm sorry there's no Night's Watch units, actually, Chris. You'll have to be sad.
No, it's fine.
But it's going to be cavalry coming in with 5 move, 6/4 on a 4+, 6 armor, 7 morale. Cavalry with the classic 3 wounds, and they have planned approach, which is not the same as what's it called? Unsuspecting charge from day 1, but it's very similar. Start of turn, target for any unit in long range. Till the end of the turn, that unit may not be targeted by enemy effects or abilities, which is not a good way of writing rules in this game, but we'll live with it. When resolving its action for the turn, or when choosing its activation for the turn, that unit may only declare charge action. So if you use this, and if that unit activates charge, just a small note: you do not have to use this when the unit activates. So you can actually use this on your opponent's turn to stop them targeting you with cards on their turn, which is really useful if you're about to get hit by something and you're worried about the various different things that could target you. What do you reckon, Lux? What do you reckon, Daniel?
I don't know. I was really hoping for 6-inch. I mean, the
That's
cat
what she
move.
said.
It was. Yeah, I know.
Sorry, I feel
I know.
like I need to say that.
Yeah, that was.
So my partner told me
That was an
yesterday.
open goal.
I said it.
You left
You
it
said it.
there. You know.
But you know,
That was
that
an
has to
open
be.
goal you needed.
Okay, now that this is out of the way, I think the unit is a little bit lackluster, to be honest. I see it as a tech piece, maybe, but I feel like the way that the free folk lists work, at least the ones that I have in mind, like they don't really have the space or the place for something like this. I mean, what's the thing? You can use it defensively, as you pointed out, but you maybe can protect Mac a little bit or something that is charging, and I don't really know whether this is worth it. Also, the 6+ defense could have been 5, right? So I don't know. I definitely will try them out, but I don't see them being meta defining. But maybe I'm missing something. I've not really theorized a lot about them, to be honest. What's your opinion?
Rumor has it that they're 5 points, and at 5 points, I was like, do I take these or a chariot? And I actually,
I was assuming 5, for sure. Yeah.
And I think if they're 5 points, then there is a really good discussion whether or not a chariot or this unit is the better pick. And I think that's probably good. In that, like, they're entering the conversation in a competitive spot for a conversation that needs to be had of which unit are you going to pick. And I don't think it's automatically you pick the chariot every time or you pick the Vanguard every time. I think the Vanguard are probably lower than the chariot myself. But I think it's a good thing that they've entered into what is currently the only real cavalry space in Free Folk in the chariot, rather than the Bear Riders at 8. And they're competing with it, and it's a question now of which one you prefer, and I think that's fine. I think it's fine that there is a question that needs to be asked.
And also it's better that we see a unit a little bit under par than really overtuned, like as a first reveal. So yeah, I'm with you there. And maybe there are also some unexplored use cases for them that we don't see now.
Randall points out it's cavalry unit that's less mobile than a couple of wolves pulling a cart. Well, I have a dog, Randall. I can tell you this. No horse I know can turn around inside my corridor. My dog can stand still and turn round on the spot. Therefore, dogs/wolves more maneuverable than horses. Fact. They're faster too. Probably not a fact. Don't take me on that one. Cool. Yeah, I think they'll be playable, but like, I'm not overexcited. Chris, Winterfell guards, Starks. We were talking about them before. I have to admit, I am mildly excited by these guys for multiple reasons.
Me too.
First of all, double-handed swords, great swords in Starks, which feels like it should have been a thing for a long time and just hasn't. The models look sick. I think they look great. They remind me of Swarm Brothers and King's Men. It's cool that Starks now get something similar. Next point. 5 move, 3/6/4, 3+, 4+, 5+. I mean, is there any unit that shouts 7 points to you more than that? This is almost definitely a 7-point infantry unit, I would have thought. So 7-point melee infantry unit for Stark, which for a long time has been a great axe only part of the game. I think it's great that they're getting a high-end option that isn't great axes. Second of all, adaptive on what we expect to be an expensive unit. I think this is great. I think this is exactly the design we wanted. Adaptive on cheap units, no good. Adaptive on expensive units, great. Love that shit. And we see the attachment that comes with him. We don't know the points cost. I assume he's 1. But crit blow and gives a weaken on the charge.
Yeah.
This is a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel also like really excited about those guys. I think they have like obviously they have a 7-point profile, but it really got it's nailed down by adaptive that those guys are 7, and so the only thing I think is a little bit meh on them is so when you go to the combat zone, the swords, you get the highest attack value, right?
Yes.
Which is basically stated in the article. I can't think. It should be that. It can't be anything else because it like in the text it says they're fighting without any like not losing strength or anything, something like that. Right?
Weird,
so
isn't it? Yeah.
so and that's the only thing I think is a little bit hard because like Starks have a lot of possibilities to get the highest attack value through cat, through cards, the Northern members and all that kind of stuff. So they have the options to get the highest attack value. It's not really needed, but I really like the horses effect, right? So when an NCU when you control the horses, the maneuver zone, those guys get +1 to defense. So basically go to a 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like about or that's what I really like about them. But as you said, the main thing is adaptive. So adaptive opens up a great variety of attachments you could put in there. I mean, there's the Sworn Sword Captain, always a good choice. There's obviously Recon and Asha.
Mm-hmm.
There's that drawback of like getting 1 more victory point to your opponent, but that bunker can really, right? It will just be a great fit, and you get Shaggy Dog on the side and basically Recon Asha for free, which is seen quite often with Stormcrow mercenaries now. So that is a good option, but it also opens up it gives entry to Ramsay Reekingen, maybe Ricard Karstark even, right?
Yes.
Rob Stark can be a thing.
Yeah.
But also, but what I also see, which is my like hidden pick, is Brienne. So Brienne gives them stalwart, right? So they basically go to a 3 on morale, and the Knightly Vow, they will just select their target, getting rerolls, which they need on a 5, right? Because this 5 movement, 7-point unit, they need to be somewhere. So they get the rerolls on the charge. And you have the double effect, highest attack value and +1 to hit on the combat zone, right? For 1 point, I would take it. So I'm really excited about this unit.
You'd have
Yeah.
to sell me on Brienne a little bit more than that, I think. But
Yeah,
but
even more.
Rickard Karstark. Yeah, I mean, I don't
Rickard
like his
Karstark,
2-point
yeah.
attachment, but I love Rickard Karstark. He just needs to be in every list.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, what I was really interested by you mentioning Rob. I think Rob,
Rob
in
is
these
cool.
guys is going to be
Yeah.
amazing. Because it's the kind of
Yeah.
unit that you want to invest horses onto. You know, it'll be movement 6 with Rob. You can push it up further. You can reposition nicely, and then you go, cool. Not only do I reposition, I'm posturing aggressively now, but also I now get to get the +1 armor. So fuck you. I'm not actually a light maneuverable unit. I'm actually quite a heavy maneuverable unit. And then you get to just retreat away. Someone charges you and you go, yeah, no, let's not do that. I'll back off, and then I'll come and hit you really hard. I love it. I think it's a really cool unit. I think it's a really exciting unit for Stark players. And I think the design is really good. I think it's a good design.
Yeah.
And good designs are good. Like, I know it seems really condescending to say, but they are.
Yeah, they are.
Where's the old Mickey? Give him back. Yeah.
I know, right?
Maybe it's Positivity Day. That's good too sometimes.
I think I really like the look of this. I genuinely think that the design of this is really strong.
Yeah, I'm also pretty excited.
That leads us on to the last one, which is a neutral star unit. Stone Crows, who are a 5-point neutral unit, kind of. 5 move, 6/5/4 on a 4+, 4+, 7+ defensively, and they have insight, and they heal 2 when they activate. No, they heal.
No, they heal one and 1 for each missing rank.
That's it. Yeah, heal
when they activate. Yeah.
And then they also have, is it Disorderly for +1 wound on panic fails? Is that right? Or is the other one?
Disorganized. Yeah, disorganized. Yeah. As the raiders, yeah.
And they come in at 5 points, we assume, for both neutral and Lannister. Lannister can pick them up for 5 points, but they must take Tyrion, and Tyrion is reduced by 1 if he's taken in them. So they have adaptive for Tyrion.
Yes.
Yes. I think it's cool. I think they're cool. I can't see them being that played in neutrals. I can very much see them being played in Lannisters in replacement of like a poor fellow Tyrion unit that you see. You say Tyrion and poor fellows, you'd probably see these guys, Tyrion and Stonecrows now, as an obvious direct replacement. And I think that's fine.
Yeah. I think the only problem those guys have is the good range of 5-point units within the neutrals. Or let's start with neutrals. You have, like, if you want to kill something, if you want to deal some damage, if you want to really deal a punch, you will go to cuts, right? Yeah. Cutthroats. You will go to Lysine sellswords even. And if you want to have something more tanky, something which can be a good bunker, something to go on a token, just stay there, you will go to Stormcrow Mercs.
Yeah.
And that's a tough spot for them because they actually, their insight basically should, or is an order which you should use offensively, right? So, but those guys are actually not really on they cannot really hold long. So, and I think that heal we talked about, that 1 wound +1 for each remaining rank. Or missing rank, I do not think that this is enough to have them right inside of battle. So, and that leads me to the Lannister side. I mean, if you want to take Tyrion for free, you can again you can take Stormcrow Mercs also, right? So I like them. They're fluffy as hell, and I love it. But I do not see it meta changing competitive play. I just do not see it. So, but maybe I'm overseeing something, but that's my overall impression right now.
Yeah, it's really. I think they are, from my point of view, not well designed. Because things don't fit together. Like, I mean, rolling highest attack die value and Vicious on an order with a 6. What is it? 6-5, 6-5-4.
No,
4 plus to hit. Yeah,
attack
what,
4 plus hit.
yeah, like I don't know, and this like disorganized is really bad. It's really bad, guys.
That's a turn off, yeah.
7 morale as well. They are raided. They are literally raiders with +1 armor.
I don't know. I'm a little bit worried for them because they are cool and all, but I don't know how you should end up fielding these actually, and I'm not even sure. As I mean, not taking neutral points is an argument in Lannisters if you try to compare them to something like Mercs, but I think Tyrion in Poor Fellows is fine. Like there's no need to change it.
I can see why you might. The 4-up armor versus the 6 morale on the Poor Fellows and the 4-up armor on the Stone Crows. If we're moving towards more of a hit style gameplay, Lance Cavalry, for example, at least you're getting some more value out of your 4-up armor going to a 5-up. Means you're less likely to get one shot in that sense. But then you're taking extra room from the failed panic anyway. So like, it's a whole 6 and 2 3s of. I just think it's a different slant of like a better armor unit of basically the same thing. You expect it to die at the same rate, but if it's the armor that you need, then they'll be better than Poor Fellows. If it's the morale
That's
you
true.
need,
Yeah.
Poor Fellows that are a better choice. I don't see them being played that much in neutrals, especially when you've got Lysine Sellswords now, which already don't see much play. Cutthroats are brilliant.
Yeah.
Stormcrow Mercs are brilliant.
Yep.
Stormcrows might.
I think there is a little like missed opportunity for the neutral side also, because like the Lannister thing, as we just said, it's fine, right? You can put Tyrion is an exceptional attachment, right? Battle plan and counter strategy is exceptionally good for 1 point, especially when you compare it across all factions. I can't think about his name. What is it? Messe from the Baratheons. He's Justin Messe for 2 points. He also brings battle plan and threaten, right?
Yeah.
So, well, it's just a great attachment. So I see what happens at on the Lannister dashboard there, but I think they should have given something to the neutral dashboard in exchange. Right now, it's just the same thing, and they just lose that Tyrion aspect of things. And I think that they needed something to have their own role between Cutthroats, Lysines, and the Stormcrows, right? So
I never actually
there's something
thought about
missing
that.
for me.
You've not said it, but you basically have said it. In that, like, Stormcrows are just better in Lannisters than they are in neutrals. As it currently stands.
Yeah.
Because at least they get something for free.
I would think so, yeah.
Whereas they don't get that free thing in neutrals, which makes them suck.
Maybe just give them adaptive and they're fine, maybe. I don't know. But then again, you will have the competition between them and Stormcrows.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Seems odd.
Yeah.
Seems odd. So yeah, we've got a unit that I think is going to do great. Winterfell Guards are going to come in and do great. I think they're going to be fun, interesting, another option. We've got a unit that enters probably on par and is going to provide a choice, and people will play in the Vanguard. And we've got a unit that kind of comes in and a bit lackluster. Stormcrows. The models are lovely. The unit is a bit cool. That was the news that we saw the last week or so from CMON getting this released. We also saw, and this is to our American friends out there, in case you weren't aware, today, literally today, they posted to retailers on the Facebook group, Facebook website. Let's up go. Ciao. Hear ye retailers, basically a shout out to retailers to run their US National Championship qualifiers. So if you're a US retailer or want to run a regional event so that you can qualify for nationals in the US, there is a nice little Google form. Fill in, go, and sign your retailer up. Now, obviously, most people here aren't retailers, but you can tell your local stores, get them to sign up if you want to host those events. I think a load of people already have done that, so that's great. And at the end of the month, so March 22nd, they're going to release a whole load of schedule around the different qualifiers as well. So get on that. You've got a few weeks to get it on and get it all sorted. In other news, in case we've not literally haven't run a tourney ground since this news broke, so we'll talk about it. The Ice and Fire Tactics campaign finished, obviously made its money. Did you end up backing it, guys, or not?
You first,
Yes.
Chris?
I went all in.
Yep.
Sorry. I did the whole thing.
That's okay.
Yeah, I picked the more cautious approach, and I ended up backing like the $80 pledge that probably a lot of guys went for, and some extra bits and pieces here and there. But yeah, I in the beginning I did want to, but the models are looking kind of good, and in a way, me and the community see also maybe enjoying the game even, and why not?
In contrast to all of my videos, literally the day before the campaign was due to finish, Adam from Simon got back in touch with all the LVO winners, as well as myself and Beanish from US Nationals, and he said yes, they will we'll be able to use our prize money on campaign. So essentially, I backed it because I knew that I've got $1,000 apparently from Simon, from the US Nationals. So I backed it and was like, cool, I'll be able to get everything, literally go all in once it all unlocks, and then get some extra stuff for my local community and stuff that way. So I ended up backing it. I went in at $80 to actually get in at the ground level, if you will, to pay for it. But when the pledge manager opens up, you'll be able to increase your pledges, and that's when they'll credit our accounts with money and what have you, and we go away and spend it all. But yeah, so I ended up going in on it. I'm still not sure. I still think that they missed a bit of a trick. I think people were disappointed in the end, a little bit. Not by the contents, but there was no appearance of Greyjoys and Martells the whole campaign. And people felt a bit bad for that. Specifically, I think people were really wanting, and I think everyone is secretly hoping for it. The Greyjoys in Battle for Pike or whatever, having the Greyjoy Rebellion though referenced in the game, and I think the door is really open for that. Having young Balon, etc., and Bobby B versus the Greyjoys. There is a big door open for the Greyjoy Rebellion though, but it was a bit disappointing it never came. We did get a bunch of cool stuff, which again we've not talked about, but like Dunk and Egg.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Have you know what you're talking about, clearly. You must have read the Dunk and Egg novels. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Novels that
love it.
Written.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
Yep. Just awesome journey, right? And then at some point you realize who Egg really is, right? And it's just awesome, right? And Duncan also has this like born in the most poor like area in King's Landing, and moving up his ranks through tournaments, and like being that in the beginning, like really not really sophisticated hero, right? Not doing the right things, but still victorious in the end, and just honorable, and just good read.
Yeah.
Do it. It's awesome. Yeah.
Daniel sat here like, who is this Dunk guy, and why do I care about
Yeah,
the eggs that he
what are they
takes?
talking about?
Egg?
Yeah, I
You
don't
watch
know.
the show. You can watch the HBO show later if you don't want to read the books.
Yeah, maybe I should do. I should delve into the lore and learn about what kind of game I'm playing. Yeah, maybe.
No, don't.
I will do that.
What are White Walkers, says Lux?
Yeah, I've heard people talking about them. Yeah, no, it's I think the models and stuff are great. It was really focused around certain factions that might be negative for hype building. But then again, I see that they don't want to show everything maybe, and it's not easy to split, I guess, in like small portions that you can reveal for every faction and so on. But I gotta say, I'm interested also in the game. I like these kind of. I'm really curious how they resolve it, and maybe having like a little cousin of a game for a song is it's just good, I guess, for getting new players into the game.
I'm a big. I mentioned this the other week. I'm probably not going to play this game that much. Might use it a bit of a difference, is it like that? But if they've made it and designed it so this game plays in about half an hour, that would be a good companion game to the miniatures game, I think, because then you can go to a tournament, whatever, and you can play a miniatures tournament, but then you can just like play a few games of tactics when you're there with the same people you're playing the tournaments with, and just chill out without having to take loads of extra stuff as well.
Doing side events or whatever. Yeah, it's like a cool opportunity.
Yeah. And I think that would be a big win. If it ends up being a game that takes about an hour and a half to play, I'm just kind of like, you've now just got two games in the same space. They do different things. They're slightly played differently, but like they're the same time space, and that just makes it very hard for me to get excited about one. Because if I've got the time in my local club to play one, well, I can play the other, and I'll just play whichever's better. Which probably for me is the miniatures game, but it might be tactics. Tactics might just replace miniatures. God, that's scary.
I was reading the rule book. Actually, they released a beta file of the rule book, and I read it. And I think it's safe to assume we are about like 30 to 40 minutes game time. I like the mechanics in there. Again, it's not final, but I liked what I read. The only thing I was really hoping for throughout the campaign, and I was even joining some of the live streams and like hacking, like writing into the chat. I was like, please give me some hint of what we will see, because the only thing I've seen is Bobby B, right? Yeah. So Bobby B has its card revealed, but we have seen, or I have not seen, any other unit coming out of the box, and you can just put him into Night's Watch, or you can, I've seen the models, but there's no song card which I've seen next to or other than Robert Baratheon. So I was actually more hyped about what can I do with this game, including it into song, than playing tactics. But now I'm satisfied overall what the rules tells me, and also the sculpts are great. One question remains for me, and I guess for you too, Mickey. What should we do with the dragon, right? Because it obviously won't fit here. Here's the wall, and there's the wall, and that's my little home office, so it won't be here. And I think Daniel has been to my apartment a few weeks back, and I'm probably not allowed to put this dragon into the dining room, so I really have to find a spot somewhere for the dragon.
Mickey, will your dragon end up in the club, or
mine's going to probably go on? There's going to be a shelf there. I just haven't put it in yet. I'm probably going to put it on the shelf at the top there, but I do need to measure the shelf and also the height of the room.
that thing is huge, man.
It is.
It's like this.
Reminded me, my partner's never going to let me bring that in the house. Oh my god.
See, same thing. So what should we do? I think the club idea is actually a good thing, Daniel. We have awesome painters in the community, and I was actually thinking about just giving that thing to maybe 2 to 3 people as a joint project, and we will use it in future tournaments, side events, having even like a small, like the final table being, I think there is stuff we can do with it. Just not sure where to put it, like throughout the year.
I've got a thought.
So,
yeah, get it really professionally painted and everything, right?
yeah.
Then give it about like 8 or 9 coats of various varnishes, right? Make it so it's basically waterproof, and then it's a garden ornament. Put it in your garden.
Yeah.
Make a fountain. Yeah.
Make a little fountain.
Yeah. Little fountain. Yeah.
It's big enough to have a small pool of fish in it. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's the problem. The other big one, obviously coming out of it as well, at the hype of all of it, was Brotherhood Without Banners. Brotherhood Without Banners, long been asked for in the base game. We saw Beric, Thoros. These are the coolest characters. I'm sorry, outside of like some of the knights, Beric and Thoros are some of the seriously coolest characters in the lore. Like, why don't you want these guys in the game? Why haven't they been in the game for so long? Everyone's super hyped to see these guys. But again, as you say, they are coming to the game. They said it as much. They are coming to Miniatures game. However, we haven't seen any of the stuff for this. 12 months away now. We can only hope we see some stuff between now and then.
I love Cat, man. And I hate Gendry.
Yeah,
but I
Gendry.
love Cat.
I hate Gendry because...
Oh, man. That sculpt is...
Yeah, the whole point is he's. I know he does wear the bull helm. Don't get me wrong. The whole point is that he doesn't like wearing it. Right? He likes it as a piece of work and as a piece of art, but not as an actual helmet. And the sculpt just looks.
And actually, the sculpt looks silly, right? Look at his arms compared to the head, and like, I don't know. I really don't know. But actually, the worst sculpt, for me at least, is Jaime. Jaime is, you have to check him out. Yeah, it's like right on front page, 2 scrolls or something, and you will see.
This one.
There he is. Oh, man.
That reminds
me. I don't know. And I talked with Carly about it, and Carly feels the same way. It's Jaime is a piece of work, man.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
This is going back some time. I swear there's a D&D sculpt from like maybe original Hero Quest or something. Well, that looks very similar to this, outside of the fancy armor. The pose and everything is just so.
Yeah.
And the armor's just over the top. Like, it's just stupid.
What do you think about Sandor?
I almost think Sandor is better than the version we have in the plate.
Mm-hmm.
In the, like, him wearing leathers and things. Like the new Sandor Clegane that we've got when he's on the run with his leathers is much more Sandor than Sandor in full plate armor. I think this is a much better depiction of the Hound itself.
Yeah.
Much better. And Tyrion is Tyrion.
Sure. I don't know. He looks too hobbitish, like hobbit-like, whatever. Yeah. For me.
They've tried to do something different with. Gregor looks silly. Like good.
Greg, yeah, insane. Yeah.
He just looks so big. Like, he just looks so big. You know, but hey, this is what they've got. I actually do like some of the resculpts. I think Adam Marbrand is much more suitable. These things as well. Yeah. All in all, I think some of the sculpts are really nice. I think some of the Free Folk ones are really nice. We saw Mance Raider get released, didn't we? Mance Raider get revealed, and this sculpt for Mance Raider is lovely.
Mance Raider's cool.
Oh yeah,
he's cool. Yeah.
Like, one of the biggest regrets I had. I mean, I painted my Mance and everything up, and his sword eventually broke, and I lost his sword, so I need to replace his sword, and I just never have. But this is a lovely model. 100% painting that up.
Mag is great too.
You see,
or actually, all the Night's Watch and Free Folk I really like.
I'm not sure on all of them. I think some of them are a little bit like. This just doesn't feel like it should be Gren.
That's true.
Supposed to be relatively.
Yeah, I remember. That's true. But
like,
yeah.
Yeah, Grit, Lord of Bones. Tormund's great.
Grit.
Steer's amazing.
Tormund's great.
Yeah.
I appreciate the mag sculpt. I will never use it because I customize my own. But like, I can see why people like it. It is a good sculpt.
Yeah, I like it.
I don't.
Not in purple though.
Yeah. I just don't like the cartoonish nature of some of the giants. I just do think they're a little bit cartoony, but that's just me. But yeah, Tactics is over and done. That'll be with us in a year. It's a long time to wait. So hopefully it's all good. It'll be worth it in the end. I think I will. All right then. I guess we'll just stop by the other two events that ran this week. Say we would. We saw the event in Wales that I was following along very closely, and this was 32 players, and they played 6 rounds, which is more rounds than required. Yeah. At the end of round 5, Jacob was the only person who was undefeated. In round 6, he lost. And he lost to the player who then got second place. So the undefeated player lost to the player who came second. And Grant submarined his way into first place, running Great John Howland combo. Great John for, I think, all of his games in the end. Yep, and you'll never believe it. It's Great John in the Great Axes, Cavaliers, Crown and Wind Trackers, Eddard Sansa, the classic double tap Cavalier 6 activation list. Sure, Jacob running Free Folk, Tom Tyler also going away with 1 loss in the end, again to Jacob in a sense. All of these players, which is really interesting, all lost to each other. So Grant lost to Tom. I think James lost to Tom. Jacob beat Tom and lost to James, and Tom lost to Jacob. So the top 4 only lost to each other. And double Free Folk, Targ Stark, we see grabs. Joe, for what it's worth, I don't know if he still watches the show, but Joe is one of these people that I know in the UK, and he's goes to quite a lot of events, but he's not a big character or anything like that. You know, he doesn't produce any content like that. But Joe's one of those guys who has just been doing his own thing in the tournament scene, and it's cool because he's done a really good weekend there, and coming away with 5th place. Unfortunately, not best start, but with 2 losses and 4 wins, that's a good performance. I think that's fantastic to see. Isaac in 6th as well with his Lannisters. Steve, incredibly, was 7th with his Tark. He had a good weekend as well. It's good to see. But yeah, great weekend from what I can tell. And they had a bingo going as well. In case you didn't know, the guys in Wales run a bingo, a literal bingo, and the winners of the bingo get various prizes. I'll show you what that looks like here. In case anyone particularly wants to use a bingo card in one of their future events. So you get points if you, for example, play on the bottom table. You get a point for that. You get a point if you're a stats patron, which is a win for us. 3 points if you're just a patron on stats. If you go 0-6, you get a point because, why not? If you've attended the event every time, you get a point. And various different things. You also lose points for various things. For example, getting tabled loses you a point. Use outdated tactics cards will lose you a point.
That's good. Yeah,
forget to pack a model. Complain about balance during a game. These all things lose a point. The winners, respective winners, I think Steve Butler won the event with the most points. Kudos to Steve. And I forget his name, but someone also got -4 points by the end of it as the lowest score, and he got some wins as well for that. But yeah, if you want to try something like this as an alternative, the guys at Duke's Gaming are lovely. Kieran and Luke, I'm hoping to have them on the show soon, but Luke's fantastic. Kieran's
it's a cool idea.
Legend as well. Yeah, use something like this if you want to, guys. I'm sure the guys over there won't mind, and they gave this here so people could use it, and see what kind of things they did.
And I really appreciate use Night's Watch after a season 4 update, man. Thanks. Right?
Yep.
we have a
That's
chance.
true. Yeah, really cool options there. That's hilarious.
Yeah, but you can see. I mean, I think what the real kind of point of this is, and it goes back to what you were doing actually before with what you were saying, Chris, is that these are not actually necessarily related to just the games. These are actually just completely random stuff. Like, you get a point for having read Carly's articles on Goonhammer. Like, what's that got to do with the game? Not really a huge amount. You've got nothing to do with you turning up and playing this, but have you read Carly's stuff there? 3 points in the bingo, you know? It's just a way of getting it out there to people who perhaps haven't, or perhaps haven't thought about it, or perhaps don't know. And also have a bit of a laugh and a joke as well as you go along. So, yeah. My favourite one, because this always happens. Ask about something in the player pack. -1 point. It's all in the player pack. Just read the damn player pack. What time is the next round? Read the player pack. Yeah. So if you want to use that, guys, check it out. It's on the UK Discord if anyone needs it or wants it. I'm sure they mind. So that was the GT in Cymru. Now we did have, and now this is impressive. We had the 74 player event in Spain. I am hoping to have Mikel on next week. He couldn't make this week, especially with the guys from Germany after a few delays. So we'll have Mikel on hopefully next week to talk about the event in Spain. But he comes down with a win with Greyjoys. And again, I was very happy this weekend because Mikel, in the 7th round, played against Aaron, who was playing Free Folk, and he beat him. So this weekend, there was like I think there was like 3 Free Folk players in one point in contention to win events, the big 2 events, and then 0 Free Folk players won events this week. So I'm happy with that.
It's all about the players, Mickey. You know.
It's all about the players, isn't it, Daniel?
Yeah.
You know, us Free Folk players who can win events. It's fine. No, Aaron and Victor are great. People that I've met and know. So yeah, but Mikel, congratulations there with Victarion and Dagmar. And Dagmar, not a command you expect to see from Greyjoy.
Yeah, very curious about that. Yeah, just in general. Yeah,
it's a good mix. So just run through the rounds. We'll obviously discuss the week and the list and everything next week. But have a think on it. We've got Dagmar played for 1, 2, 4 of the rounds. So he played more Dagmar than Vic. And not only does he play more Dagmar than Vic, look at this flex. That's a Dagmar list with the hitherto unplayed competitively Aeron Greyjoy. There is probably an NCU you would not expect to be winning a GT. So you testing things out with Dalalarks? Mikel can do it too.
Okay.
It's a bit of a challenge between you two now. How far crazy can you go? But yeah, so do check that one out, guys. Do check out the overall results there. It looked like a fantastic event. They had the Italian and French contingents that usually travel, like so Shabaloo and Titus were down there, which is fantastic as well.
And great turnout, right? 70 people?
Yeah, 74 people.
74.
Yeah. Really big event. Probably it's what I'm expecting, given what we're expecting with Season 5, if you want to call it that, which is like a mid-season attachment / commander balance patch is what they seem to indicate. If we assume that's coming out in like August, this might well be the biggest event of Season 4.
Yep.
So, you know, this is probably going to be setting the tone, I would think, between hits and crits, between this, to some extent, GT, Cymru, Lowlands GT coming up, obviously, at the end of March.
Don't forget the Polish team tournament. This might be big.
Yeah, the Polish team tournament is also probably pretty big. Check on that. These are the big tournaments I'm expecting to use, kind of like Season 4 kind of gateway and Season 4 understanding. So yeah, it's really good to see it. Obviously, be that big, but also fantastic result for Mikel. I think it's his. No, it's not his. But it's up there. I think it might be his biggest event win. So that's obviously a great thing for him. One of the best players of the game, as we know. Pulling it down with his. All right then. I'm pretty much 2 hours on the dot almost. Amazing. Start a little bit late. But I'm ready to start calling it an end there. We'll have a look at what events we've got coming up, including the Polish tournament. I want to Adepticon.
It's April, first days of April, first weekend of April. Yeah, it's. I checked it. It's the waiting list is pretty long, but I know I'm going there myself and playing with Blood Ravens, Ravik, and the guys. So there are a lot of teams ready and in the pipeline who will definitely come. Podwiz is coming with a team, for example. Yeah, guys from Germany are coming over.
Yeah,
so I think it definitely 50, hit 50 plus, I would say, for sure, yeah.
165 divided by 3. No, 55. 55 players on the list so far, and obviously that's not everyone.
Yes.
But it's going to be pretty big by the sounds of it. I'm surprised you're not playing with a German contingent, playing with the Polish players there.
Yeah, I have a special connection to the Polish community, and so I really wanted to meet the guys there, and they asked me, and I will give my German guys a ride, and we will stick together there. But yeah, I'm really happy to play with the Polish guys too.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Team Pivnica all the way, right? But I think he's quitting out on you there, Chris. I think he's abandoning his German roots.
You know,
you might not. Don't let him back.
I mean, I'm not. Well,
I'm just building connections, you know.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Like, I think there is so much, but that the Polish guys are so crazy about this game, and they do awesome events, and they also have like great connections when you talk like retail and like all that kind of stuff. So it's just good to have connections to those guys who really enjoyed it. And we actually met at Taktika. There's that's a fair in Hamburg actually, and all the guys came from Sclap Wargamer, from War Factory, and we had quite an awesome evening. So
that's cool.
Yeah, so I'm actually planning also to be more around in Polish events in the future, but I also see it that way. So I think Daniel should stick a little bit more to. Well, we did the first tournament and he liked it, and he's on the Discord. So there may, some point in time, maybe you never know.
You never know,
right? So
leave the door open.
You never know. Yeah. Exactly.
Always.
Don't get me wrong, playing Swavik's great and Blood Raven's great, Camille's great. So I have no bones about you playing on a team with those two guys. They are a pair of my favourite players in the scene, probably. Camille is actually...
Yeah, I love them so much, yeah.
God, it's been such a long time since I spoke to him. Anyway, right. We'll have a look at what other events we've got coming up, and we'll call it there. So, whoops. We have got, and I'll try not to butcher this, guys. Bitwa o Smoska in Krakow in Poland this weekend. We've got an event in Leipzig, Deutschland. Is that Gedresche? Gedresche.
Leipzig. Gedresche Cup. Gedresche means basically beat something down. Is to dresh something, or like basically it comes from like help me, Daniel, when you put down weed, and you hit as hard as you can on the weed, so all the corn gets out of the
right cereals, that's basically the
cereals, that's dreschen. Right. So
Like to crush, almost to like crush. And, like,
to crush the cereals.
Yeah. Okay.
Something like that.
Bizarre. I'm not even going to try this one. The next one's in Gdansk in Poland. We've got the Bolter crew putting on another event in Wrocław in Poland. Okay. Meister de Schild von Peitershagen. How much did I miss?
Well, the German guys are putting up like kind of weird names.
Meister der Schilde von Petershagen.
No idea.
Petershagen.
I love how I'm not German and I'm struggling, and the Germans are struggling as well.
Germany is a diverse country, you know.
Oh yes.
But there you go. Another. That's in Petershagen in Eggersdorf, Germany as well.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the conflict developments in Forst in Germany. That's a nice one to say. An event in Russia. I can't read it. I can't read Cyrillic. I'm sorry, guys. We've got another event in this is Poznan in Poland, happening this week. We've got an event in Vista, California, at the Pair of Dice Games in Hacienda. We've got an event in West Sacramento, California. God, the Californians. The House of the Badger crew getting back together for an event. We've got an event in Senigallia in Italy. Cool. Not a place we've seen very often, but it's good to see another one on the list. Love to see other places crop up. Flea Bottom Brawl. The Brawl in Flea Bottom this week in London. Small event in London as well this weekend. If you're in the London area, do check it out. And there's also a free-for-all event happening in Brazil, and I believe this is a league. Not happening in one day. It's happening over the month of March. So it's just going to be playing lots of games with each other. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 events happening in the next week. Quite a light week, but we've had some heavy weeks in the past few. Also mention Finnish Nationals is next weekend. That'll be probably, I'm almost certainly, that's been run by the NOPAT group. So you expect the likes of Timu. You've got some Swedes going over. So we've got Forrest over there, obviously. We've got WAP going over with Orb, the Swedish players of good repute, as well as all the Finnish players that we know and love. I'm looking forward to that one. That's growing as well, which is good to see. We also have, after that, a couple of weeks' time, Lowlands GT that I'll mention again. That's happening in, obviously, the Lowlands and the Netherlands. Do check that one out. I think that's going to be a really awesome event. I'm going to be following along as well because they're going to be almost definitely live streaming everything as well. So check that one out. And then, you've got a special event coming up around the end of April as well, right, Chris? That's your next event?
Beginning of April. Yeah, beginning of April. Beginning of April, we will basically surround the War of the North, which will be a yearly thing with smaller events, mainly focused on some funny ideas, and again, doubling down on bringing new players to the game, bringing them into the community. So the thing in April is called Clash of Lords. And what we thought about is it's the second time we do it. Mm-hmm. So we have 2 veterans basically being as coaches. Okay. And those guys get 6 players each. And those 6 players build one team and they play against the other team. So it's 3 rounds. And those lords basically they're coaching for 3 rounds the players that, at that very moment when you pick up the starter, you pick up 2 unit boxes and you just want to play. So that's what we're trying to achieve, bringing really focused on those kind of players that just started out with the game. And we also put in a little funny gimmick into the tournament. So the players in each and every round, they get a mulligan token.
Okay.
So let's say they draw the first 3 cards and they say, "Oh, I was really hoping for, I drew a double take the black." That's not good, right? So what I always do, right? So they can use the mulligan and draw again, or you go to letters and you can draw again. And there's also a token where you can put in the Lord, so you coach for 3 turns in a row. So that's also cool. It's just a little gimmick to, you know, freshen up the tournament, to give the players some kind of, like, when they are in a tough position, they can, you know, turn around, go to the Lord and say, hey, I need help, right? Please do it. Do the right thing and go to tactics board because I don't see it. So yeah, that's what so that's what we're trying to do with those kind of tournaments. We're also thinking about a team tournament, not a team tournament as like in Poland, but more kind of a two versus two.
All right, cool.
So right? So basically I play whatever. I play Sword in the Darkness on a free folk unit charging or something. It's like yeah, it's far away from being balanced, and it's far away from being like what we see as competitive, but it's just a fun event, bringing people together, just enjoying the game and the community. Yeah.
It goes back to what you were saying before. If it works in growing the event and growing the like, if it grows the scene and it grows the competitive scene by bringing more people to play games, then it's not a bad thing to do. Yeah. No, that's awesome stuff. I hope that goes well. I hope you get some fresh blood in there to train up as well. Is the idea? I'm starting to get this idea that I think you want to start an academy for Song in Hamburg, so that eventually one day Larks will come home and he'll be like, oh, I'm just going to this, you know, event in Hamburg. It's all right. I've won like the last 20. I'm so good at this game. I'll win this one. And then this like 3-year-old that's just been coming to the academy for the first 3 years of its life.
We'll just beat him down.
Beat him down completely.
Yeah. That's the plan.
Can't talk. Beat you at a war game.
As long as my own son, I'm fine with it, basically.
I don't think Chris is going to allow him in the academy. He's already got all the training at home.
Sure, we're open for everyone.
Yeah. Right.
All right then, awesome. I mean, there's loads of other stuff watching throughout the year, guys. Do check it all out. But that's what's coming up soon. Obviously, wish you best of luck with your event, Chris. Larks, what's the next thing on your table?
The next tournament?
Yeah, or just next thing. When can I expect to see you? Well, apart from the team tournament, right?
Yeah, team tournament will be the next one. I'm then keeping my schedule free for the Hegemonalia tournament from the Hegemon shop in June, I guess.
Yes.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I'm working on getting information and confirmation, but yeah, that's a tough thing to do. But this was great last year, so I want to be there. And yeah, picking up some small tournaments around the way. I really want to go to Local Breed tournament this year once at least, because I really appreciate what he does for the community where he lives, and I think I only hear the best about his tournaments, and I never was able to make it, so that's a priority for me.
Yeah, Loki's a great guy, and yeah, it'd be good to catch up with him. Great guy, and he's great, does great stuff. All right then, Chris. Is there anything else you want to go through before we call it a day?
No, I think we said everything. I just want to invite everyone to join the Hits and Crits family, join all the stuff we do, and just build out the game of Song. That's the only goal, and I think there is a great times ahead of us in terms of like the miniatures game, because I really appreciate the developers giving that continuous support, being fast on like bug fixes, like the Golden Company Swordsman, and the new units. Right? I mean, there is just the whole game is in a such balanced, well state in my book. So I think there are great times ahead of us, and we can definitely achieve more great things for the German community. So feel free to join, check out the content, and just connect with us on the Discord.
Definitely. The game is definitely in one of the best places it's been for a long time. Healthiest place. Yeah. And it looks positive. Definitely. So thanks again for joining us, Chris. Obviously, congratulations to you and the guys for running a great
Anytime.
Event. Daniel, congratulations again for winning. I expect you to be doing quite well in the team tournament, and I'll be following along, obviously. And thanks everyone for tuning in, watching this week. I'll be back next week with Mikkel. We'll talk about Greyjoy list building. We'll talk about why free folk suck, and we'll talk about why the Spaniards are actually really terrible at Song of Ice and Fire. One of those things isn't true.
Nice.
I'll let you work out which one it is.
That's good, man.
Right, guys. Thank you very much for joining me, and to everyone watching, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next week.
Thanks, Mickey.
Thanks.
Ready? Aim!
There's too many.
Anyone see my mammoth?
Stop me!